Hey, how are you guys? It has been a good minute since I have been live. So I'll give you guys a few seconds to come on in. Of course, as you guys come on into the live, say hi, hello, hey, all that awesome stuff. Those of you that are catching the replay, make sure that you type in hashtag replay, leave your questions, your comments, all that amazing awesomeness so that I can get that with you guys as well. Those of you, if you are new in my space, I say welcome. Thank you for joining me. If you do not know, my name is Beverly Walthour. I am a business strategist specifically for Christian female coaches who are looking to create more income and more impact without compromising their Christian values. 80% of my clients create between $35,000 and $116,000 in 90 days. I am also a TV and radio show host. So we film and record the TV and radio show here in Atlanta, GA. Hey, Letitia. Hey, girl, how are you? Um, yeah, we film and record the TV and radio show here in Atlanta. And so, you guys, I want to go ahead and just dive on in here. Like I said, it has been so long since I have done a live. Yes, I love y'all. Y'all are so awesome. And so, you guys, when I tell you this week has been absolutely amazing. Just with my clients, like within the past 24 hours, the number of testimonials that my clients have been shooting off, have been sending me, has been absolutely amazing. And so I just want to have this conversation with you guys. Yeah, look. Yeah, Tish, I sneak in here every once in a while. I sneak in here every once in a while. But yes, hey, Stephanie, hey, you are so welcome. And so, you guys, I just want to have this conversation with you guys, and then I'm gonna hop right on off and keep my day going. And so, with this thing, and I always tell people, as a business strategist, my goal, like I said, is to help people to create more income and more impact. I truly believe that impact that you create as a coach has such a ripple effect. And so when I say ripple effect, I truly believe that we have the skill set, we have the tools, the resources that we can share with our clientele that literally impacts or can literally impact generations to come. And so when I talk about impact, I'm literally talking about generation to generation to generation, like that type of impact, not only on your clientele that you serve, but also on yourself and your family and your business and all that good stuff. And so just knowing that, you have that capability. And so my question with that level of impact, then the income comes in as well, as long as you are treating your business like the business that it should be run as. Hey, Diane. And so what I mean by that is so often, especially because I work with believers, so often we can get caught up in just giving our services away. And so, you guys, and I always say this, if God has called you to create a business, once again, God knows the definition of a business. He knows that in exchange for goods and services, products, that there's going to be an exchange of money. And so, because he specifically told you to start a business, to run a business, then you want to make sure that you're operating from that mindset of a business owner, of an entrepreneur type of thing. So many of us, we're still getting caught up in that trap of just giving away your services. Now, of course, if he told you specifically, hey, sow this into somebody's life, that's a different story. I am not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about you always giving your services away. And then the thing is, or either we give it away or we give it away for such a low price point that we get mad, we get angry, we get frustrated type of thing. And my thing is, but you're setting that up like you did that to yourself type of thing. So you want to make sure, that you're directing the anger in the right place. And my thing is release the anger. And my thing is ask yourself, okay, what can I do differently? What can I do differently? And so the reason why I posed the question the way that I did for this particular live is, you guys, God gut punched me the other day. Yeah, it was a gut punch the other day. And so with that gut punch, it just reminded me of this particular question and me kind of asking myself, am I getting in the way of certain things happening and occurring or not happening and not occurring in my business? And so I'm going to read this. I gotta grab my trusty Bible because I want y'all to feel this gut punch as well. I don't want it to just be me. So the other day, this was last week, I was reading out of Luke 17. And so in my life application Bible, that's when they, your life application Bible, hey, how are you, sis? And so in my life application Bible, you guys know they'll have questions and stuff that they'll pose to you. So part of Luke 17 was all about the lepers. And so, the 10 lepers that came to Jesus, Jesus healed them. Jesus said, hey, go to the priest. And the thing is, on their way to the priest, they were healed. And so remember, one came back to give, to thank Jesus. The other ones, they kept going or whatever. And Jesus was like, well, hey, wasn't there 9 other of you? That story about the lepers. And so for me, it was a couple of things that stood out because you guys know we read this scripture. And I always say this, just depend upon what's going on with you in that season of your life. You may read it completely different. Like we have heard the story of the 10 lepers. We have read this story 15,000 times. And so for me, I've read this story before. Just depending upon what's going on in my life. But last week, because of what was going on, this particular scripture, it hit different this time. So one part that it asked was the fact that once again, the 10 lepers, like when Jesus said that they were healed, like when they were standing right there in front of Jesus, they weren't healed instantly, like they could actually see that they were healed from leprosy. It was when they were on their way to the priest, that's when they were healed. And so the part that really stood out to me from a life application Bible that it said, it says Jesus sent the 10 lepers to the priest before they were healed, and they went. They responded in faith, and Jesus healed them on the way. But this was the part where I was just like, I had to give God the side eye. Like, God, you talking to me? Like, God, you really talking to me like this? But this was the question. It says, is your trust in God so strong that you act on what he says even before you see the evidence that it will work? So once again, this was the question in my life application Bible. It says, is your trust in God so strong that you act on what he says even before you see the evidence that it will work? Hey, and you guys, when I tell you that particular question hit different. So once again, like I said, I've read Luke 17 a million and one times, the lepers, but that particular question in this particular season of my life hit me so differently. And it's the reason why I posed the question the way that I did, asking, are we standing in the way of certain things in your business? Because once again, so many of us, we don't move forward until we know. So for instance, we may ask God to do a thing, or we may ask God for a thing. And so even if he shows you something, a lot of us, we will not move until we feel like we are 110% sure that that is what he said. And so once again, when I read that question, do I trust God even when I don't see it all, when everything is not all lined up the way that we like, especially us as females, like we like to know every single thing, the next step, all of that good stuff. And I really feel like a lot of times we can end up missing out on stuff, especially when it comes to us being entrepreneurs, because we are so afraid of getting it wrong. And so you guys, even in your business, when I tell you there are some steps that you may have to take in your business, even when you don't know all the rest of the steps. There may be things and opportunities. We know that God is the source of everything. We know that. And so for a lot of you guys, you're believing God for certain things in your business. And I promise you guys, just take that step, even when you don't know. Sometimes we may only be 5% sure, like, God, I think this might be what it is that you're telling me to do. And then you guys just move. Just move, just move, just move, and watch what happens. You guys watch what happens. And so, like I said, and I know just from what was going on with me last week, like I said, I'm like, okay, God, this not what's going on type of thing. And like I said, I just felt like that was the motivation. I felt like he was talking to me in that instance, even when it comes to stuff in my business. The other part that made me ask this particular question for this particular live, earlier this week, Stacey Abrams was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And so those of you, I think most of us know who Stacey Abrams is, but me being in Georgia, when she went through and she ran for the governorship, or ran to be governor here in Georgia. The part that really stood out to me when I read that piece, when I read that article about her being nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, I actually had tears spring up in my eyes, because it made me think about this. And you guys, let me know if I'm the only one who's had this experience where you've done something where you really feel like God was telling you to do that thing. So in my mind, I really feel like she felt like she heard from God to actually go for the governor, like to go for that office of being governor. And so, she's doing all the things, and for her to get as close as she did and not win that particular thing. How many of us have gone either for a job that we felt like God was telling us to do, or we applied for something where we felt like God was telling us to do it and it didn't work out? Especially, you may have gotten close, like you may have done something and you were like in the top 2 or whatever, and it did not manifest the way that you thought that it would. Like, that's what I thought about with her. But the thing is, and the thing with a lot of us is, what we do is we'll get into this space and play, oh my gosh, like when it doesn't happen, pay attention to the words, the thoughts, and the actions that you take, because I feel like in that moment, that's where you really have to pay attention to make sure that your words and your actions and all that stuff still align with that promise that God gave you. And so once again, and I know for her, like, you can't tell me she didn't have some moments where she was like, okay, God, I really feel like you told me to do this thing. But once again, her thing is she did not give up. She did not give up. So she used that opportunity to really and truly make some huge efforts here in the state of Georgia when it came to voters and voters' rights and making sure that people got registered and all that stuff. And now here she is 2 years later, and the opportunities that were presented to her, I don't even know if she actually imagined those things when she ran to be the governor. Like, she was thinking, hey, I'm going to be able to impact things here in the state of Georgia. And she's now had a global impact. And so that's why I tell a lot of us, like, we have to start thinking bigger. The other thing that I really want us to make sure that we remember is, like I said, when you're in those moments, and especially when it does not look the way that you thought that it should look, pay attention to your words, pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to your actions. You want to make sure that they still remain in alignment with what it is that God has for you, what it is that God has said to you and for you, and all of those things. That's why one of my mantras, one of the things that I say, anything that I am going after, anything that I'm believing God for, I always say, I know I'm going to get that thing or something better. I know I'm going to get that thing or something better. And I feel like that whole story with Stacey Abrams, I feel like God, that was a reminder to me from God that once again, if it doesn't work out, because so many of us, we pout, we scream. It might have been, like I said, a relationship or whatever, and we're kicking and screaming and all of that stuff because it didn't work out the way that we thought. But remember, I'm telling you, God will have something so much bigger than what it is that you could ever imagine if we allow for him to. So once again, are you standing in the way of certain things in your business? Don't allow this. We may call it a setback. I don't even think it's a setback type of thing, but just because it may not look the way that you thought that it would in your business right now, I want you to keep going, keep seeking God. Make sure that you have people in your circle that will stand with you, that will stand in agreement with you. You guys, I say this all the time. Prayer partner, you should have at least one prayer partner, some accountability partners. You guys, I'm telling you. So not only do you have God as your source, and you know God is number one, and you go to him for those things, but also making sure that you have people that are standing in the gap with you. Like I said, those prayer partners, those types of things. Because you guys, this stuff as entrepreneurs, it is not for the faint of heart. Being an entrepreneur, it is not for the faint of heart. I don't care how far along or where where you are in your entrepreneurial journey. And so once again, having that support type of thing is going to be huge. And so you guys, I'm telling you, make sure you have yourself set up, make sure you have that type of support. And so once again, like I said, pay attention going back. Thank you, Melody, for transcribing. You guys pay attention to your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Having people in your circle that can check you on those things. My thing is, we are human. We have emotions. So my thing is, if there is something that you've said, something that you've done, something that you've thought, type of thing, get that thing back in alignment, repent for it, get some scriptures that's back in alignment, go back and make sure that you that you're that praise and worship, all of that stuff. Like I said, yes, let God know, hey, I'm disappointed. I really thought it was going to work out like XYZ or whatever. Let them know, because we are human. But once again, don't remain in that space. Don't remain in that space. Now, let me tell you how God keeps working on them. So like I said, that particular question from my devotional came last week, like last Wednesday, somewhere around there. And then, like I said, the whole thing with Stacey Abrams, that I saw that earlier this week. And then on Tuesday, which was yesterday, I was reading Job, first two chapters of Job, and the same thing. It was just like all of these things that happened with Job. Once again, paying attention to your words, paying attention to your actions, paying attention to your thoughts. You guys, like I said, make sure, even especially if things are not looking the way that you thought that it would or should, or what you feel like God is telling you, pay attention to your words, pay attention to your thoughts, all of that stuff. You guys do not remain, thank you, Ru. Yep, do not remain in that space. You want to shift out of that space. And so you guys, like I said, those are just a couple of things you could do. Be honest with God, be open with them, let them know, oh my gosh, this is what I thought. I thought I was on the right track. I thought I was doing exactly everything you were telling me to do. And even when I wasn't 100% sure, I was still moving, type of thing. So make sure you have those conversations with him. Like I said, if you don't have some people in your life that can stand in agreement and all that good stuff with you, ask God, hey guys, bring some people. This is what I need in my life, that type of thing, and watch what happens. And so you guys, like I said, your thoughts, your words, your actions is some of the things you want to make sure that you are not standing in the way of certain things in your business. So when you look at the words that you're speaking, the thoughts that you have, so those of you, as we now move into the second month, believe it or not, we are in the second month of 2021. So everyone should have reflected back on January, what worked, what did not work for you business-wise in your business. It's the same thing. Pay attention to the words, the thoughts. So if things did not work exactly the way that you wanted them to do, wanted them to in your business, or maybe it was a contract that you thought was going to happen and that contract fell through. Maybe it was a client that reached out to you about working with you and then they pulled back, or whatever it is, whatever it may have been in your business that did not work out the way that you thought that it would. Pay attention to those words. As I keep saying, pay attention to the words that you are saying, the things that you're speaking. And then once again, like I said, express it to God and let him know, hey, I was disappointed. I really thought this person was going to move forward, or God, I really thought XYZ was going to happen. But once again, don't allow those things, those words that you're speaking, the thoughts that you're having, to actually stop the flow of cash coming into your business. Because once again, and this is something that my pastor said, and I'll always, always, always remember this. And it reminds me of the story. You guys know I always forget who it was. Is it Daniel? Y'all know I always tell this story. Was it Daniel? When the angel came to Daniel, when Daniel had prayed the thing. And so the angel found Daniel and was like, hey, we heard you when you first said the prayer, but we were pretty much battling on your behalf. And that's what took us so long to get there. And so my pastor had mentioned one time, she was saying, pay attention to your words, because you could be praying and believing for something, and then you say something that contradicts what it is that you're believing God for. And so the same thing, think about the words, the thoughts, the actions that you're speaking over your business. And so you always want to make sure, even when things are not going right, and I'll put that in quotation marks, you guys, you always focus on the things that you want. You always focus on those things that you want in your business, not the things that you don't want. Because if you're constantly, because to me, that goes back to us speaking to our mountains in our lives. And so, that saying where a lot of us, we're telling God about our mountains versus us telling the mountains about the God that we serve. And so we want to make sure that whatever those mountains are in your business, whatever those things are in your business, hey, Carol, whatever those mountains are in your business, make sure that you're speaking to those mountains about the God that you serve, and not just going to God and talking to him about the mountain. He knows that they're there. He knows that they're there. So what are you saying to that situation? So for instance, if your goal is for you to serve X number of clients in your business in the month of January, in the month of February. So once again, if you're believing God for, I don't know, $4,000-$5,000 clients, because that's the particular service that you have. And so if that is what you're believing God for in your business, then that's what you're speaking over your business. So each morning, what are you saying to yourself as you get up in the morning, as you're going throughout your day? Thank you guys so much for these clients that are coming in where I can serve them, at my fullest capacity. And my signature offer, whatever your signature offer is. So each day you're going in thankful and grateful for those clientele. Now remember, there are actions that you can take along the way. So the clients are not just going to necessarily fall out of the sky type of thing, but there are actions that you want to take to make sure that it's in alignment for what it is that you were believing God for in your business. That type of thing. Thank you, Melanie. And so you guys, and that's the thing. So once again, if you're believing for, clientele for a particular program or whatever it is, that you're believing God for. So once again, talking to that throughout the day. So once again, something pops up in your day, like I said, that's out of alignment. So like I said, say for instance, somebody was like, yeah, I'm gonna, express interest in working with you. And then they send you a message or a messenger and say, hey, you know what? I've decided to wait until, June or whatever to work with you or whatever. Like I said, pay attention to the first thought, word, action that popped into your head. So once again, will you feel that bit of disappointment? Yes. But in that next moment, once again, that's what's going to determine a lot of things. So remind yourself, even if you have to put up post-it notes and stuff like that, to remind yourself, okay, God, thank you. I really thought that was going to, that was going to be the next client, but I know that means you have freed that space up for the right client to come along. That type of thing. So once again, if you don't have those things, write a couple of little notes down for yourself and to yourself as that as that reminder, that type of thing, so that you have those reminders right there. So if those things do happen, you have a way of kind of pushing back and not allowing the enemy to get over. Yeah, see, there you go. You thought this right here. Look, right here we go, another day in a row. You see what I'm saying? So you have ways to push back on the enemy, and even just our own thoughts that we have for ourselves that contradict what it is that God has for us. So make sure you have those confessions. There you go. Those confessions that you have, write those things out. So like I said, when those opportunities that you thought were going to manifest and they don't, or they didn't, you have a way of quote unquote pushing back on that, or what we say reframing it, where it's in alignment with what it is that God has for you. The same thing if you're believing in for a particular revenue goal. The same thing. Each day you're going and you're speaking that revenue goal over your business. I'm such a firm believer in visualization. So visualizing. So I actually spend time before I get out the bed. I spend some time before I get out of the bed, visualizing what I want the day to look like, visualizing the type of clientele I would desire to have, the type of opportunities I would desire to have for that day. So kind of setting the tone, I am setting the tone for that day type of thing. So once again, praying and believing God for those things, it's already done in the spiritual realm. I'm just believing for it to happen in the physical realm type of thing. And then knowing that there's going to be action that I will put into place to ensure that it, to walk myself toward it. So we know faith without works is dead. So once again, if I'm believing for clientele, then once again, what am I doing? What actions am I taking in my business to open it up, to let God know, hey, God, this is what I'm believing you for. This is the action that I'm taking in my business for the clientele. Because once again, they're not just going to pop up out of the sky, so to speak. Now, what may happen is you may do a thing. So for instance, a thing might be you might email your list. You might email your list. And, that is your action that you're doing when it comes to letting people know, hey, this is what I do. This is how I serve my people. This is the opportunity that I have, so on and so forth. And then someone may reach out to you and say, hey, girl, I have a referral for you for one of my friends that's interested in X. And so I'm going to refer them to you. So although you send an email to your list, The clientele may come in a different way. So you see what I'm saying? So once again, it's still that action that you're taking. You're still letting God know, hey, this is what I'm doing in my business, that type of thing. So when I say sometimes, I feel like sometimes a client can't technically drop out of the sky type of thing because you were looking at your email list and then it came through a referral type of thing. But that's what I mean. But you did put an action behind the faith that you have when it comes to your business. So once again, you want to look at what are those actions. And so, Carol, thank you so much for being so transparent. Carol said, yes, this happened to me yesterday. I was so disappointed. I think all of us can relate to that disappointment, in our business when, like I said, we're thinking and believing for one thing and it doesn't happen. And we're like, okay, God, what's going on? I thought this is what was going to happen type of thing. So like I said, we all experience, there we go. Oh God, I love it. Carol said, Bev, you were reading my mind. I'm about to email my list. And then Carol, whatever happened to you yesterday, I called it out too. So I'm just saying. So you guys, like I said, really and truly, you want to check your words, your actions, your thoughts, those type of things. Make sure that they're in alignment with what it is that you're believing God for in your business. You guys, and I'm telling you, you have been sowing these seeds, you've been planting these seeds, all of this stuff. You guys, that is scripture when it comes to seed time and harvest, all of that stuff. So once again, are you sowing your time, your talent, your treasure type of thing? So those things that you're doing in your business, and this is why I feel like, God honors your yeses. So that whole thing when you may have emailed your list, you may have emailed them a tip on something, a tip about XYZ. And then that call to action in that email is for them to schedule a call with you. So now you have sowed a seed of your talent and your time, the time it took you to email that list and your talent, your talent as far as you giving out that information, you sharing your expertise type of thing. And so in return for that seed that you sown, once again, you're going to reap a harvest. So that's why I'm always telling you guys when it comes to, for a lot of you guys, you have been sowing these seeds, and you're going to reap that harvest, call in that harvest type of thing. And so that's why I feel like when it comes to these whole formulas about, how much do you give when it comes to information for free and all that stuff, that's the real reason why I don't subscribe to that stuff about, what give, the how, and the when, and whatever it is. Like, I really don't subscribe and pay attention to that because in my mind, I'm seeing as me sowing seeds. So if I'm coming out here and I'm sowing this seed of my time and my talent when it comes to me delivering content, whether or not it's a live or a post or to my email list or whatever it is, that type of thing, like I am sowing that. And so I know that there's going to be a harvest for that. That to me is just the difference between the way that the world does things versus us as kingdom entrepreneurs, us as believers. That's why I see it so different. And that's why I don't really pay attention to whatever those formulas are type of thing, because I just subscribe to the way that, that we do kingdom business. So once again, look at how, and literally one thing that I do on my board, like my board that I have up on my screen, up on my wall, it's it's a calendar that I have up on the wall where I track my revenue and all that stuff like that. And one thing that I do, I make note of the seed that I'm sowing. So whether or not it's my time or my talent or my treasure, all of that stuff like that, like I track that stuff as well, just for me to pay attention, because once again, we know that kingdom business looks different. Kingdom business does look different. So once again, even tracking that type of thing. So that's why I always go back to, looking at who you align yourself with when it comes to the coach that you have and all that stuff like that, and the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Pay attention to that stuff, and just check and see, are they operating in kingdom principles, that type of thing. I'm such a firm believer in utilizing those things in our business or in your business type of thing. So look at what it is that you're sowing. Pay attention to the things that you are sowing when it comes to your business. Is that what's hindering you from hitting whatever that revenue goal is as well? Look at that, because that sowing and reaping, that is a kingdom principle. It's a promise. It has to work, period. It has to work because it's a kingdom principle. So how are you implementing that in your business? And so you guys, I'm telling you, implement those things in your business, your faith, your the works that you're doing, sowing your seed, all of that stuff, and watch what ends up happening. Paying attention to the words, the thoughts, your actions, especially when things are not going the way that you thought that it would type of thing. So you certainly want to make sure that you pay attention to all of those things and just watch how things shift, how you'll quote unquote start to get clients out of nowhere. Someone who you may have had a conversation with a year ago is like, hey, I'm ready to move forward with you type of thing. And you're like, well, dang, look at this right here. That type of thing, just unexpected things, because once again, you're now reaping and you're conscious of what it is, that you're sowing and that you're putting out there, and then watch the things that you start to reap as a bit, as a result of you implementing those kingdom principles, things, so on and so forth. Yeah, go ahead and save this. So you guys, like I said, definitely, and let me share this one last thing with you guys. And you guys, this, because we are kingdom business owners, we are believers. The reason why I stress this stuff to you guys so much is because it impacts your clientele. And so I always say this, even if your clients are not Christians, even if they're not believers, so on and so forth, if you operate in those kingdom principles, it has a ripple effect on the people around you. Think about it. And I always go back to scripture and stuff like that. And I think about, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, like taking it all the way back to the beginning, and the people that were blessed just because they were connected to them. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, because the people that are connected, like your clientele that's connected to you, the oil that will flow from you, the fruit, all of that stuff. So that's why I'm always talking about these things with you guys as coaches and with my clients and stuff, because once again, you want to see that ripple effect and have other people that benefit from your relationship with God. Like I said, even if one, they may not have one at all, or once again, they may have one and it may not be the best, and maybe you end up being a model for them and to them, even if you don't even realize that thing. So that type of thing. So that's why I feel like it's so important to us as believers in business to really and truly pay attention to your relationship with Christ and make sure that you're always cultivating that thing. You see what I'm saying? Because it has such a huge impact on other people, type of thing. Hey, Rachel. Hey. So that type of thing, you guys. So that's why I'm always emphasizing that and always asking you to look at how you are implementing those principles and things like that in your coaching business. This is what causes us to stand out from other coaches that are out there. That's how we end up, quote unquote, setting ourselves, apart and different and all that stuff like that, because people will be attracted to you and they may not even know why. They may not understand. But once again, we know that we were called to be the salt and the light of this earth. So they're going to be drawn to us. But for them to be drawn to us, we just want to make sure that we're operating in such a way to where we are that light that's actually drawing them to us and not repelling them away from us. And so you guys, I'm telling you, when you have those things like that, you'll notice those things with your clientele. That was one thing with this third round of those people that are in the accelerator. 100% of them have always the first week, I always challenge them to make a sale. I don't care what it is, just get a sale on the board. 100% of them right now have sales on the board. And one of the things now, this is something that's new, those of you who were in it before, one of the things that they are now tracking that I did not have them track before, although I don't see it, nobody else in the group sees it, but one thing they are tracking now is them sowing. What is it that you're sowing? Your time, your talent, your treasure type of thing, so that they pay attention to that as well. And so those types of things, you guys, I'm telling you, it impacts you, it impacts your business, it impacts the people that you serve in your business. And you guys, I'm telling you, it's a huge responsibility for us to be believers in business. And I pray that you guys are not taking this thing lightly, in the sense of the level of responsibility that we have is so different. It's so different. Yes. And so Diane, yep, Diane and Rachel, both of you guys, because you were in round one and round two, where they're tracking it now, they're tracking it on their personal spreadsheet. So remember, we had that personal spreadsheet where you tracked your daily revenue generating things. So just add a row down there at the bottom on that weekly thing. Just add a row down there for sowing your time, your talent, your treasure, and just type out whatever it is that you sow. So I went live and talked about 3 whatever, or from my business account, I tithed, or I gave, or I sold into somebody's business, or whatever it is. That type of thing. Like, you guys, start tracking that if you haven't been tracking those those things and just watch what starts to happen in your business and then in the lives of those people that are connected to you, as far as you being, entrepreneurs. Just watch what happens type of thing. Yes, 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 yes. All right, you guys, that's all that I have. That's all that I have. You guys, I pray that this was helpful. Like I said, Guy kicked my behind last week, and I just wanted to kick some other, and share. I wanted to share in the experience. So if you missed the beginning of this, definitely check it out. Like I said, that scripture that I read from was Luke 17 with the lepers. So that's what I was referring to. And once again, that question that I shared, the same thing. It came from my Life Application Bible. So that's where that particular question came from. So, of course, you guys, I will leave you with this. Those of you, thank you guys. I'm glad that this was helpful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, of course, you guys, those of you that do desire support, well, first of all, if you are not a part of my Facebook group, this is my invitation for you to join my Facebook group. It's called Highly Successful Christian Female Coaches and Consultants. So if you are a coach or a consultant, this is my invitation. Join us over in the Facebook group. Just make sure you answer the 3 questions. Once again, Highly Successful Christian Female Coaches and Consultants is the name of my Facebook group. And if you have not downloaded my freebie, this is my 6-figure framework for Christian female coaches. So this is what I use with my clientele. Like I said, 80% of them create between $35,000 and $116,000 in 90 days. I use the same framework to do multi-6 figures in 2020. I tell you, the year of the pandemic. My clientele that are creating 6 figures in your business or in their business, this is the framework that I use to help guide them in that process. And then, of course, those of you, if you want specific support in your business, you have questions about how I may be able to support you as a coach, reach out to me. Reach out to me, especially those of you, if you have not created your first $10,000 in your coaching business, I want you to reach out to me. I have a little special offer that I'm doing for a certain group of people. It's limited to the number of people I'm going to work with on this particular offer. But if you have not closed $10,000 in your coaching business, reach out. Just send me a message with the number 10,000 in there so that I know what it is that you're reaching out to me about. But you guys, I'm telling you, if you have specific questions, let's go ahead and let's get them answered. Once again, we are in a new month. Don't allow February to look like January. We want February to be even better. So if you had a great January, we're going to have an even better February. If your January was like, it was okay, then let's have a good February. Like I said, my clientele, the results that are coming in, the results, like I said, one girl, she signed 3 new clients in the past 24 hours. I was like, I had to just said, I said, wait a minute, because she messaged me yesterday, and then she messaged me with 2 more people today. I said, wait a minute, you closed 3 new clients in 24 hours? She was like, oh yeah, she didn't think about it. She didn't even think about it like that. So you guys, I'm telling you this right here. If you have specific questions for me, please let me know. Just reach out to me. Reach out to me. Anytime I can have somebody else, y'all always say I step on y'all's toes. When I get my toes stepped on, I want to share it. I want everybody else to feel it too. All right, you guys, I pray you have an absolutely amazing rest of your day. Once again, if you have specific questions for me, please reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. Like I said, if you have not done your first $10,000, reach out to me. I'm doing something special for a small group of people with that particular offer. There's an offer that I have for that. So definitely reach out to me. Like I said, you guys, once again, if you have specific questions, reach out to me so that we can have a conversation. Once again, I pray you have an amazing rest to your day. You guys, thank you so much, and feel free to share this video out, all that good stuff. I see some of you guys are saying you're going to go back and watch it, so that's a good thing as well. And you guys, thank you so much for joining me, you guys. Thank you, and take care, take care, take care.